Hello, welcome to How to Access Podcast. Hopefully, this video will help allay any fears that you might have on the myriad of ways that you can access podcasts. The first thing that you'll need to do is if you're going to be listening to your podcast or if you're interested in listening to podcasts on your phone, on your smartphone, then you'll need an app to keep and organize your podcast. If you have an iPhone, you already have a stock podcast app, and that is the Apple Podcast app, and the icon looks just like this. So go ahead and click on this app, and then once you click on it, you will see a listing of different podcasts. My recommendation is to start perhaps at the top 10 podcast list. Those are the most popular podcasts that are out there, and that is my recommendation. For Android users, the easiest option is to play podcasts through the Play Music app, and the icon looks just like this. Now, I am not an Android user, but it is my understanding that once you select this app and open it, it will be very similar to the Apple Podcast app. So you'll have a listing, and then you'll also have a top 10 lists. Now, once you select a podcast that you might be interested in, you can either subscribe to the channel, and you'll see the word subscribe within the podcast. And then if you subscribe to that channel, you'll automatically get all of the new episodes. But if you don't want to do that, you're still starting off, you're still brand new, you don't know what you want to listen to yet, you can always just click a podcast or click an episode and listen to it. Another way to find out what types of podcasts there are out there is to simply do a Google search. You can type in podcasts, top podcasts to listen to. Excuse me. Okay. And again, you'll get a lot of different options. You can also select or type in top podcasts to listen to, and you will notice that once you haven't even finished typing podcast when it gives you a lot of different options. You have top podcasts of 2020, 2018, 2019, top podcasts to listen to at work. There are top podcasts for sports, top podcasts for women. Okay, so the world is your oyster. If I click on top podcasts of 2020, you will see that again, there are a compiled list from various different websites. So I suggest you take a look at these. Some of the podcasts have been around. You might have heard of the podcast Serial, which completely changed the way people listen, or it made people much more aware of podcasts. It was incredibly popular. And actually, I recommend it. It's a really good podcast. Okay, so that's one way of starting to listen to podcasts. And then once you know, like for example, if you're interested in this armchair expert, you can go back to your smartphone, type in that title within your podcast app, and then it'll come up and you can start listening to it that way. My other recommendation is if you have a favorite news source and want to see if they have a podcast, you can just go ahead and type in the news source and type in the word podcast. And I know for a fact that New York Times does have a podcast, so I will go ahead and click on that. All right. And then if you look through the page, there is a Modern Love podcast, which is popular. And if you do not have a smartphone, you can actually listen to a podcast via your computer. Okay, and if you just click on the play button, it will
Modern Love, the podcast, is supported by
from W. Okay, it will play automatically. Another podcast that I wanted to bring to your attention is this podcast by Oh, I'm sorry. It's by school, library journal, podcasts for children. Here we go. Because we're in this day and age of COVID-19, there are some parents who might not know how to explain this unprecedented time to children. Here are 9 podcasts that can help you and your child through it. So you can listen to it with your children, with your grandchildren, and there are 9 options. I hope you have found this helpful. If you have going forward any problems downloading podcasts, or if you have any further questions, you can go to Bryant Library's homepage and actually schedule a one-on-one tech consultation with our technical librarian. Her name is Shu. So if you go to bryantlibrary.org and go to calendar of events, or you can actually do, you can go to register for adult programs. Okay. But on calendar events, every Wednesday, there will be a session for tech one-on-one for adults. And all you have to do is just register. And it's just a one-on-one service that the library provides for any technical questions. I hope you found this useful, and happy podcasting.